Hello again and welcome to Spotlight, the interview show on RT. I'm Anglais, and today my guest in the studio is Sylvain Tesson. It's amazing, but today, when practically everything on Earth is discovered, the thirst for adventure is as strong as ever. Millions of people living around us are dreaming of getting away from it all, being free. My guest today is one of those who really made it. A French traveler, author, journalist and filmmaker, Sylvain Tesson is our guest on Spotlight.
Sylvain Tesson does what many of us have dreamed about, traveling around the world on a bicycle. He also walks 1,000 miles in the Himalayas. He lives like a recluse in a shack with the amazingly beautiful Moyka lake as his backyard. That is all he's about. The global nomad is a native of Paris, but his home is the entire planet.
Bonjour, Monsieur Tesson. Thank you for being with us today. It's very nice to have you. And I would like to start with something I read about you. This is, according to some sources, you did a master in geopolitics. Is that true?
Yeah.
So, geopoliticians, if I may call it so, don't usually travel around the world on a bike. They don't live for 6 months near Lake Baikal in Siberia.
They should, maybe.
They should, you think?
They should. Yes, they should, because it's a way, traveling is the best way to see the world. If you stay in behind your books and on your working table, you may have a very theoretical view of the world. And I think one of the obligations of a geographer or of a geopolitician is to go on the road to see exactly what is the reality of the world.
So what you do isn't just for fun. It really helps you with your science, with your research. Is that true? You really want to understand something? Or you're just having fun? It's just adrenaline?
No, of course, yes. It's a dream. It's a children's dream to be a traveler and to live with this life of very plenty of liberty and freedom. But I think my real purpose is to write book now. I really try to organize my life between the traveling and the literature, and it's what is conducting me.
You do any writing while you are traveling, like some notes or something, or no?
Yes.
You do take notes?
Every day. It's quite a sort of discipline. I maybe 1 hour or 2 hours every day, like
Leo Tolstoy.
maybe. Thank you for this reference. But you know, as people do some gymnastics for 2 hours every day, or jogging. Well, my intellectual jogging is to write 1 or 2 hours every day about what I live, what I thought, what I saw, the meditation I had on the day, and I try to put all this, which is my day, and to put it in the very, very small square of my notebooks. Your notebooks. I have it every day, you see. Tonight I will write about our meeting.
Okay. Listen, what do you like most about your journeys? Well, you mentioned challenge. Is it the challenge? Is it the people you meet? Or maybe something else?
I think the most important thing for me when I am riding bicycle around the world, or crossing the steppe of Central Asia by horses, or climbing the Himalaya, the thing I am looking for is to trying to make the life be very intense, very deep. And also my obsession is to try to make the time going a little bit slower. Because I am very obsessed by the extreme fastness of the time, which is really flying away, and this is a problem for me. And I thought that the writing and the traveling is the best way to make the time be more calm and slow down.
You said a wonderful thing that I really loved about you. You said that the only 3 true luxuries in the world are silence, space, and solitude.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But listen, what about Lamborghinis? I mean, les gens français, I mean, they have to love beautiful women, furs, diamonds, le croissant le matin.
Maybe, but we are speaking about real luxury, and I think you know what is the luxury.
A beautiful woman isn't real luxury.
No, of course it is.
It is.
Of course
yeah,
it
good,
is.
good.
Of course it is, and of course it is, but it's not very rare. In Paris, maybe, but no.
And in Moscow, especially in Moscow,
Moscow, of course,
it's a common thing.
No, I think seriously, the definition of the luxe is, of course, what is rare, and I think that the solitude, the silence, and the space will be tomorrow. Tomorrow, much more expensive than the neft, the gas, and the gold.
Then you should add fresh water.
Yes, of course.
Fresh air,
water.
fresh water.
Yeah,
listen, let's talk about solitude. Well, you say you really love solitude. It makes you think, make you nervous. But does it make you a different person? For example, for me, well, I agree to most of the things you say, but for me, if I have to be alone for more than a day, more than 24 hours, I'd rather die. I mean, I start going nuts.
Well,
do you feel something, or you're a different person?
No, I did not feel the loneliness as the solitude as a pain, and hopefully because I spent 6 months in a little hut in the middle of the wood in the shore of Baikal Lake in Siberia, and I was very in a remote place. It was 6 days walking from the first village. So it's a real solitude.
And you met nobody for 6 months?
Yeah, I met a little bit of hunters and fishermen, Russian of course, who sometimes were coming in my hut, maybe 1 or 2 visits each month. Or
were they friendly?
Yes, very friendly, very Siberian, very friendly, yeah, very...
very Siberian, that's a good one, very Siberian.
Very Siberian, they were very true people, you know, direct people, and I love that, but sometimes I spend 2 months without seeing even a man on the, you know, at the horizon, really loneliness. And I didn't feel the solitude as a pain, because first of all, I had a lot of books, and when you have books, you are in a conversation with the people who wrote the book. So
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure of that.
I always think that a good book that makes you be in conversation with yourself. Isn't that true?
Well, no, of course you are.
It's like inside your mind. You talk to yourself when reading a book, isn't it?
Maybe, but you are receiving what a writer wrote 100 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 10 months ago. So there is a sort of exchange and of communication. And the second thing, which explained that I didn't feel the solitude as a pain, is that I think that when you are alone in the middle of the taiga, and when you are thinking of the people that you are loving, your wife, your parents, your sisters, your brothers, your friends, they are there. They are there as if you made a convocation of them, and they are surrounding you, and they are whispering in your head.
You were going crazy.
Of course.
Like having images.
But of course, because I was reading Tolstoy for 6 months, drinking vodka and speaking to the ghost that I was.
You had vodka with you?
Yes.
A lot?
You want the mark?
Well, no. What's your day? What was your daily dose?
Half a bottle a day.
Half a bottle?
Yeah.
So 200.
Half a liter a day.
Half a liter a day?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, but it's not a lot, because I used to work a lot. You know, for 4 or 5 hours I was cutting my wood.
It gets the vodka out. Yeah,
of course. We have a word in French which is alambic, which is this machine who makes the vodka, and my body became an alambic, and so
Listen, my next question that I had to you was, listen. Yeah, it'll make you laugh. How did you entertain yourself? Now, I know already. You had your books, you had your vodka, so lots of fun. Listen, what about bears? Did you see any hungry bears? Because there are lots of really wild animals around.
Yeah, I had several contacts with bears. I was very afraid when I started to travel in Siberia 10 or 15 years ago, because people told me it's very dangerous to see a bear.
Did you have a gun?
No, I had what we call a farchfell, which is a sort of emergency fire, which the sailor used. This type.
Also, the football fans use it.
And the football fans, and the bear don't like that.
They don't like
That's why they don't come to football. The bears. And I had this, which was protecting me in the taiga. But as after my first contact with bears, I was not afraid anymore, because I understood that it was better to meet a bear than to meet sometimes someone, a human that because the birds, they obey some law, which are the natural law, and you know that if you behave properly, they just will let you go away.
If you don't act like prey, they're not interested.
Of course, if you don't look at them, if you go back slowly, and I was speaking them French, and they were maybe very surprised by this new language.
I think they were surprised, because they forgot that language, because it's been a long time since the Russian officers were sent to live in Siberia, and then the bears would say, "Oh, here's somebody speaking French once again after all these years." Okay, well, I just want to remind you that Sylvain Tesson is my guest on the show today, a French writer, journalist, and traveler. Spotlight will be back after we take a break, so stay with us. Don't go. Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm Algrenov, and just a reminder that Sylvain Tesson, a French writer, journalist, and a traveler, is here in my studio today. Mr. Tesson, you told me that you're in Moscow now, but you will be leaving Moscow in a couple of days and going to France, back home, on a motorcycle, and you'll be following the route of Napoleon Bonaparte in 1812, when he was on a retreat from Moscow back to Paris. It will be practically the same season and exactly the same route. Why did you decide to make such a, well, I'd call it a sad journey for a Frenchman, for a patriot of your country?
Yeah, of course, it's more sad for a French than for a Russian. Because, but it was, I do it because for several reasons. The first one is that I think that it's a very, very huge campaign, and French were 300,000, more than 300,000 who died in this Russian journey. And I think it's a sort of commemoration. We want just to celebrate the memory of all those people who made this big tragedy, who died in the field of Russia and in the river of Berezina.
Many of them died on the way back, on the retreat, not in the battle, but just because of the winter.
Exactly, and this is the exactly the 200 anniversary of this campaign, and so as we have a lot, as you know, there is each day since Napoleon there is a book about this story. Each day there is a new book which is published. It's incredible. It's probably one of the historical events that produce more documentation and book and studies. So you can if you want have an idea of the way back, kilometer by kilometer, because there is so much document and so much study about this journey. So we took that, and we took a map, and we made the exactly itinerary very precise, and we will follow that.
And you're going to follow the route of the emperor himself?
There is two routes, because there is a route of the army, and at Minsk, Smogorny, not far from Minsk, in Belarus, the Emperor Napoleon went back by another route more fast, and this is the one we will follow,
Listen, when you go on your journeys, well, I know that when you went on your journey to Siberia, for example, you took a little icon of a Russian saint with you. Well, first of all, if it's true, I'd like to know which saint was that, who it was. And are you really so religious? I mean, or was it just something for luck?
No, I mean, it's very difficult to say if yourself you are very religious or no. Of course, I think that the sky is not only blue or full of cloud, but the little saint I used to carry with me, especially when I am in the taiga, is Saint Séraphin de Sarov. I don't know how to say that in English.
Seraphim Sarovsky.
Yeah, right. Which was also Ochelnik. He was he used to live in an hermitage in the taiga, and at the end he was maybe a little bit crazy also. You know, he was speaking to the bear, he was feeding the bear, he was feeding the animals of the woods. I
heard something like that 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's why maybe I have a link with Séraphin of Sarov. I think it's a very nice story because he tried also to say that the happiness is to have a very simple life.
When I look at you, talk to you, I think that I really get a feeling of what happiness really is. Well, you do look a happy person, but listen, you do things that most of the ordinary people would love to do, but they never do it. Why? Why do you think millions of other people, when they talk to you, read your book, say, oh, I should do that, but they never do that? Why don't they?
Because I think they fear the first step. When I was 20, I started to go, my first journey was to go around the world with bicycle for 1 year. And I was riding 25,000 kilometers, I think. And everybody was telling me, but you are crazy, it's very dangerous, and look, you are going to die on the road. And in fact, I was with a friend, we started to ride. And it was a very wonderful journey with no more problem than when you are living in a crazy city like Paris or Moscow, where you can also
can get killed every moment in your car.
you can face a lot of problem in a city, and you are not more exposed when you are traveling in Afghanistan and in Tibet. Of course, if you are taking some security precautions, of course. And the second thing is that people think always that the neighbor is living in hell. And so this is a real law in the world. When you arrive in a village, if it's in India or in Africa, it doesn't matter, or in Brazil or in States or in Russia or in France, the people will tell you, you have to take a lot of attention of the village which is just after us, because they are crazy and because they are dangerous. And so I think that the people make a representation of the world very huge and very tremendous and very dangerous. And when you just ignore this and you go on the world, and you see that the world is quite sympathical, in fact. So
it's just the problem of the first step. You have to take the first step. You have to go into the water. And that's it.
Yeah,
and then it looks much easier.
Yeah, I think that the people. You tell me why people don't more do those type of travel. It's true that sometimes they say, oh, you're lucky to do that. I didn't travel, and I think that maybe they put fence, which is.
I think there's an Oriental saying that a road, a 1,000-mile long journey starts with a little step. Yeah.
Of course. And when you are making such journey, for example, one time in 2004, I went from Siberia to Calcutta walking through the taiga and the steppe, and it's exactly like your Oriental proverb. You just think one day per one day per one day per one day, and you never consider the whole journey, because in that case you become crazy.
Listen, when people listen to our conversation, they would probably get thoughts like, for example, you said a bottle of vodka a day. Vodka costs money, even in Russia. I mean, well, of course, in Russia it's cheaper than in Paris, but still, many people would say that I can't afford it. I can't afford going to Calcutta, to Russia, to South America, or whatever. Is the financial factor really serious in what you do?
Of course not, because I will explain you. The travel I do are except the travel of Napoleon on my sidecar. But all the travel I do are travel by walking, by horse riding, bicycling, sometimes rowing in a kayak, and which are very slow way of transportation and very low cost, because you are alone with just your rucksack and you bicycle in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of Tibet or in the middle of Gobi desert, and this is a very small budget. You don't need a lot of money to live for 1 year in the woods.
But you still need some money, and you need some money to leave to your family and whoever, and you're not making money when you're living in taiga.
well, there is two things. That first of all, when you are living in a city, also you need money, and so the people who
But you make money also, yeah. Well,
yeah, of course. And
you go to work. You
have to work. Yeah. You have to work. You have to live. And so the people who say that they don't travel because they don't have enough money, well, I made the choice to live on the road, and I live on the road, and that's why it's like a walk. It's exactly like a walk. When I go in the steppe or when I go in the taiga, it's like if I was going at the office. Now, it's really my life. And the second thing is that I am a writer now. So it's true that my publisher, they produce a part of my travel, and I have a contract when I am going in the country.
So before going, you have a contract, and you know that this will probably pay back. Yes?
Yeah, of course. And if I come back, and if I have something to say, I will make a book. But my publisher, they help me to make my dream and my traveling.
Would you ever consider living your life of an ordinary man, like going to work every day to your office back home, and not doing something crazy again, something wild?
You know, for me it's very difficult to answer this question, because I am not feeling as a crazy man, and I feel that what I do is quite ordinary. And a lot of my friends are also alpinists and sailors, or people who make some war reports in Afghanistan or in some country. And so when I am with my friend, we just have a conversation about those type of journey. So I don't feel like I do very special things. You know, I'm just going back in Paris. Well, it's with a motorbike instead of taking the plane, but it's not so crazy. So I think I have quite a sort of ordinary life. You always find people around you who are a little bit more crazy than you. You know?
Listen, but well, that's absolutely right. But that's no excuse.
Yeah, of course.
Listen, but for example, I love traveling. But would you consider taking your wife, kid, an airplane, living in a hotel, and do you consider that traveling?
Yes,
or for you, this is rubbish. I mean,
no, of course not. I hate the idea, you know, of you think you are the only who do a very pure journey. There is travelers that are like that. You know, it's superiority complex. I don't like that. I am not at all considering that there is a type of journey which is better than another way of traveling. No, I just think it's not the same thing. In one case, you put your life in a travel, and in the other case, you make a little travel among your life. But it's not the same thing.
Okay, last question. You won the Prix Goncourt, right?
The Prix Goncourt, the short story.
Yeah, for a short story. How important was it for you? Was it really like something very big in your life, or not really?
Well, I won another prize which was big in my life, which was the Médicis Prize for my book about my journey in the wood, in the taiga. And that was a very, very big happening for me, because the contrast is huge between living in a hut alone in the middle of nowhere in the taiga, fishing a fish every day in the Baikal, and then you come back in Paris, you write this book, and then everybody is congratulating you, and it's very funny, because on one case you're alone, and on the other case you meet a lot of people who are make you congratulations, and this was a big contrast. But of course those prizes are wonderful, because they are showing you that there is again people who are considering this very, very old thing, which is writing.
Thank you. Merci bien.
Merci bien.
Thank you for being with us. And just a reminder that Sylvain Tesson, a French traveler, writer, journalist and filmmaker, was my guest on the show today. Spotlight will be back with more first-hand comments on what's going on in and outside Russia. Until then, stay on RT and take care. Merci.